getting out to port issues, and this one, I'm asking this from the same side of the table as you, so I just want to preface that. But I hear that
But
the
you're
American,
not on the same side.
well, I don't get as close as possible. But I hear that the American Trucking Association is planning in the next couple of weeks to file a lawsuit.
Probably.
And it'll be against both ports, not
Probably.
just LA. And I'm just wondering how are we going to defend ourselves? This is
Well, I think we're in a better.
concession issue.
And one of the reasons why I did not, I was really strongly opposed to the employee mandate. Because I think it will weaken our defense, and I think I've read all the legal briefing papers on this. How we'll defend ourselves is that I think the law is fairly clear that we can, in a proprietary interest, limit who comes onto our property, limit what comes onto our property, and you have to have it. You have to have an interest, and that interest has to be for either expansion or preservation of your economic entity. So I think the port can rightfully say, look, we're limiting the pollution-causing equipment coming onto our property because we can't expand unless we do that. And in fact, our business can't grow unless we do that, or even sustain itself. That's the first test. Now, but everything you do as a result of that program has to be in that interest, which is why I think taking an extraneous issue such as a labor provision and putting it in there weakens your case. Now, the reason why I think ATA is suing both of us is that, we did this under a concession plan, and I think their decision, I'm not speaking for them, I think their decision is that if they leave Long Beach's concession plan in place, that in fact, that weakens their legal arguments. That's what I think ultimately is where they are. I feel very comfortable about our defense in this plan. Nothing's 100%, but I think we've done everything to give ourselves the best chance of winning. Now, I will also tell you, the other thing I did, and the port did this at my request, was they have linked their container fee for the environment with their container fee for infrastructure. Right. And the reason I want that is because I wanted to send a strong signal to every economic entity that there's no free lunch here. You're not going to get what you need and what you want, which is greater cargo handling capacity, expanded port, expanded throughput, unless we get cleaner than we are today. So if this thing gets stayed in the court as a result of the ATA suit, we're not going forward with some of the other programs. It's just not. That's the policy we have. And so, quite candidly, I think entities that have a livelihood in the port, hopefully cooler heads will prevail and say, what are you doing this for? All you're doing is making it even further out from the time we get improvements in the port, capacity improvements. And they've been great about it. Some of the entities over there, terminal operators, they've been very cooperative about this container fee. They understand that we have to do this. So, in a nutshell, that's where it is. I think we have pretty good defenses, and I think our defenses are better than LA.
I'm curious, how possible do you think it is for this region to implement an alternative, like a zero-emission cargo movement technology? Let's talk about Maglev or other kinds. How are we able to do that?
I'm glad you brought that up. First of all, one of the things you hear is like, we want no net increase. This program the port's put together is beyond that. This is actually reducing pollution. But ultimately, and this also was a factor in some of my thinking on the trucks program, it's foolish to do this with trucks. To do all this drayage, you got be conservative. You got 16,000 moving parts. Taking a box from the port 4.5 miles to the intermodal yard, or whatever it is, like 13 or 14 miles to Hobart, maybe it's 16, down to 710. Why would we do it that way? I mean, if we were planning it today, would anybody at this table do that? Now, I know we don't have that luxury, but if we were planning it today, we wouldn't do that. So, longer term, and I don't mean 30 years. I've talked to several port commissioners. They're in the process now of looking at this. What we need to start today is a fixed guideway system that's going to take care of the drayage from the port to the intermodal yards, one or more, whatever's out there, and eventually down to Hobart. But if you could just do the stuff here, and I don't care if it's Maglev or some other kind of lead, or electric or whatever, as long as it's probably electric powered or certainly clean powered. We got 20% renewables in this state on electricity, and in fact, it's much cleaner than the other alternatives we have, and it's quiet. If you can do that, I think the neighborhoods Carbon's better off, we're better off, and ultimately, I think you'll be able to handle more goods through the port by doing that anyway. But that's the longer-term solution, and I'll just leave it with you to figure out that if you have a different format on drayage, how difficult it's going to be to get to that rail system. So we'll leave it up to you to think that.
I have one more question for you, and that has to do with alternative energy sources. And I just, I wrote something, and I'll be posted about this. The City Council last week passed a resolution in support of conversion technologies for municipal solid waste. And I'm actually working with the county on an effort to get those going. And I think there's a lot of potential, especially in Long Beach, to generate more power for the ports, which we're going to need for coal ironing and these electric conveyor systems. So I just wanted to bring that up and see if you had any
You're going to need it all.
conversion
You're going
technology.
to, look, I have to tell you, I've been involved in this alternative energy and efficiency business for a long time.
Yes, yes.
And I have been, I remember when we were talking anaerobic digesters and all this stuff on municipal waste and how you do that, how you convert it. The truth is, you want to, first of all, you don't want to just burn everything.
No.
If you can recycle and reuse, I mean, that's the first step. So you want to be efficient. But the remaining waste stream, maybe you can't, if that has potential to produce electricity, I think, yeah, absolutely, I'm an advocate of that. But you're going to need everything. You're going to need solar, geothermal, wind, biofuels. You're going to have to reconsider a whole host of things here, because if you are really going to get away from carbon, you have very few options. There are not that many options. You can't do it all with wind because it's intermittent. You can't do it all with solar because you don't have the storage technologies. And you can't do it all with geothermal. You can't do it all with biofuels. You're going to have a mix that includes a whole host of things. Natural gas is kind of viewed now as the transition fuel, but ultimately that's still carbon-based. If global warming is a real issue, and I think it's certainly there's something going on with the climate. If that's an issue, you're going to have to get away from carbon. How do you do that? That's the issue. So you really have to move away from those fuels.